So good morning, everyone. Welcome to Agri.Rankers. So today we are going to discuss about this year's budget that was presented by Finance Minister Sri Nirmala Sitharaman on 1st of February. So this budget was an interim budget, okay? Interim budget. Interim budget is presented during the election year, okay? In the year in which election is going to be held. So this is not a full term budget. During this budget, only vote on account is passed by the parliament, not the finance bill. Vote on account just give the government authority to use some amount of money to run the administration of this country for 2 to 3 months. So from today till the new government forms, this budget will remain valid, and for your examination, which will be held during this period, the statistics from this budget will remain valid. So let us study about this budget. If there is some modification after the new government is formed, then we will discuss that also. One more important thing about interim budget is that during this budget, no major schemes are announced by the government. There is no major change in the taxation, although taxation there is no change virtually, because finance bill is not passed, only vote on account is passed, and vote on account do not give government any authority to change the taxation structure. So let us not move into detail of this interim budget, otherwise it will become an economic lecture. We should restrict ourselves to the agriculture point of view. So here we can see that government says that this year the nominal GDP growth rate is going to be 10.5%. So 10.5% will be the growth rate of nominal GDP during the year 24-25. This financial year starts from 1st April 2024 to 31st March 2025. So this is again a budget estimate. This is the estimate. Actual figure will vary depending upon the geopolitical conditions of the world, and any the entire year many things may happen, and these projections may increase or decrease. The real value may increase or decrease. Again, this is a growth rate of nominal GDP. Growth rate of real GDP was not mentioned in the budget, but one day before the budget, Finance Minister Sri Nirmala Sitharaman had said that the real GDP growth rate will be approximately equal to 7% in this year. Okay. So what is the difference between real and nominal GDP? Real GDP is the actual GDP on which the health or the growth of the economy is determined. Nominal GDP will give you the value of goods and services produced in our country at the price of current year. But the real GDP will give you the value of goods and services produced in our country in this year at a price of the year 2011-12. So why this has been done? Because so as to negate the effect of inflation that may reflect on the growth of economy. GDP, it is the value of total goods and services produced in our country. In the case of nominal GDP, your GDP growth may appear increasing. Your GDP may appear increasing, but actual volume of goods and services may remain same. Why this may happen? Because the prices of goods and services may increase during the year due to inflation, and inflation will be there in a growing economy. Or okay, so this do not give us an actual figure of the growth of the economy. It's the real GDP which gives us an actual picture. So real GDP growth rate is going to be 7%, and the nominal GDP growth rate is going to be 10.5%. Size of nominal GDP this year is going to be 327.7 lakh crore. Total receipt of the government, total money that the government will receive during this year for expenditure is 47.65 lakh crore. So from where the government takes money, receives money from taxes, okay, from the taxes, from the profits of government companies, from the loans that government takes, from the securities that government releases in the market. Okay, from all these sources, government will receive money, and that is equal to 47.65 lakh crore. And this is also the total expenditure of the government. This money will be spent by the government during the year. This is also the size of the budget. This is the also called size of the budget. So out of the total money that government receives, total revenue receipt is equal to 30 lakh crore. So revenue receipt is the actual money that government receives that that the government need not to return back. These are the tax money. And the citizens of India gives tax to the government to spend that tax on the development of citizen of India. Okay, this is a mutual agreement between government and the citizens. Again, tax money as well as some non-tax resources like our government company, if some government companies like banks or railways earn some profit, that becomes part of the revenue receipt. So all those receipts that are not liable to be returned back, that are revenue receipts. Capital receipts is borrowings that the government takes as a loan that the government has to return back. So this is these are the capital receipts. That this is borrowing 16.8 lakh. Other type of capital receipt, loan recovery, that government has given loan to somebody and that person is returning the principal amount, that becomes the capital receipt of the government, that is 0.79. Principal, the most important thing is the revenue receipt is 30.01 lakh crore. All these need not to be remembered. This is most important figure. The first three is most important. Okay. Revenue deficit is going to be 2% of our GDP. GDP here means real GDP. Okay. Fiscal deficit, most important, 5.1% of the GDP. What is fiscal deficit? It is the amount of money that the government takes as a loan, okay, which government has to return back. That money as a percentage of GDP is the fiscal deficit. You know, government will always, the expenditure of the government exceeds the revenue receipts. Exceeds the revenue receipt means taxes and all those profit. But to meet the expenditure, government has to borrow some money. So that money as a percentage of GDP, that is called fiscal deficit. It is 5.1%. It is going to be 5.1% this year. This is an estimate again. Primary deficit, these are all the deficits, somewhat similar to fiscal deficit. Their definition is a little bit different. These all says that the deficits means we have a lack of money, we have to borrow something. Or there is some technical little bit differences between them. I have given you the formula, you can see there. So the primary deficit is 1.5%. So fiscal deficit is the most important thing that you need to remember here. Okay. Next stage, fiscal deficit target for the year 25-26 is 4.5%. This is also again very important. Budget allocation to Ministry of Agriculture this year is 1.26 lakh crore, almost same as that of previous year. Budget allocation to Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying is 7,105 crore. Okay. For food processing, it is 3,290 crore. Okay. Next is the some of the important statistics from previous years. Here, these first three things are not important because new budget has been announced. Growth rate is important. Growth rate of nominal GDP was 8.9%. It is 8.9% in the current fiscal year, because current fiscal year has not ended. It will end on 31st of March 2024. That's why we call it first advance estimate. It is still an estimate, okay, and it is the first advance estimate. So advance estimate is a much closer figure to the real value than the budget estimate. So this is the latest figure of the year 2023-24. So you need to remember this 8.9% of is the growth rate of nominal GDP, and the growth rate of real GDP 7.3%. Both these figures are very important. More than the budget estimate of 2024-25. This first advance estimate of 2023-24 is more important. Size of real GDP in this year is 171.7 lakh crore, and size of nominal GDP is 296.5 lakh crore. You can see here the size of real GDP appears to be smaller than the size of nominal GDP. Why? Because here the prices of goods and services is at the current price, and here in real GDP, it is at the base price. That is the price of 2011-12. And the base price, the prices in 2011 and 12 were obviously less than today's price. Okay, fiscal deficit this year is 5.8%. And budget allocation, these are not important because new budget is going to be. Oh, okay. Next, most important thing is here, allocation to different ministries. Okay, these allocations are almost same as that of previous years. And this will remain almost in, maybe there might be some few changes when the new government will form. But here, more than this figure, the amount of allocation that is given, this is important. These schemes are important. You need to know the guidelines, the objectives of the scheme, and even the launch year of some major schemes like PMGKAY, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. There has been so many changes in this scheme. So this is very important. PM Kisan Yojana, because in these two schemes, there is major allocation, 2 lakh crore for Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana and 60,000 crore for Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi. And this 60,000 remains same over the years. Okay. This year, PMGKY, there is a major jump because government has decided to give free food to all the private sector households under this scheme. Okay. So all the beneficiaries of National Food Security Act will be covered under Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana for the next 5 years. So there is a major change here. Likewise, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, Blue Revolution, under which your Matsya Sampada scheme is also involved. Modified interest subvention scheme, Krishi Unnati Yojana, Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, crop insurance scheme, Prime Minister formalization of micro food enterprise. There has been a lot of talk about micro food processing. Food farmer producer organization, there has been a lot of talk about this. You need to study all these things. Pradhan Mantri Annadata Aay Sanrakshan Abhiyan, PM ASA, MSP scheme for oil seeds, pulses, and copra. Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. This has not been launched. This was announced last year, and the work is going on this particular infrastructure fund, and maybe it may be launched this year. Okay, so total allocation here is 600 crore. Okay, moving on to the next scheme. On feedstock, urea subsidy, nutrient-based subsidy, livestock health and disease control program, Rashtriya Gokul Mission, production-linked incentive scheme for food processing industry, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, Kisan Urja Sanrakshan evam Utthan Mahabhiyan. All these things are important schemes. You need to know their objectives, their guidelines a little bit. Apart from these, there are some other announcements that were made in the speech of Finance Minister that also we are going to discuss. Okay, now let us come on to the subsidy. Total subsidy this year, it is estimated that government will incur 4.09 lakh crore on subsidy. Out of these 4.09 lakh crore, 2.05 lakh crore is going to be food subsidy, and 1.64 lakh crore is going to be fertilizer subsidy. Within fertilizer subsidy, major chunk is urea subsidy, 1.19 lakh crore, and the rest is nutrient-based subsidy. Okay, and on interest subvention scheme on crop loans, it is 0.226 lakh crore. So here also this figure is not that important. This revised estimate figure is more important. You can see here in this year, the total subsidy was 4.4 lakh crore, and likewise food subsidy and fertilizer subsidy. The questions may appear directly from this table, or it might be asked that what is the percentage of total expenditure of government in subsidy. So you know the total expenditure, budget size 47 lakh crore. You know this figure, it is 4.4 lakh crore. Just calculate the percentage of 4.40 is what percentage of 47. You'll get the answer. Need not to remember all those stats. Just remember the basic statistics and just 3 major statistics. Budget size, that will give you, that will help you to calculate the percentage of total expenditure of the government, and the GDP side, that will help you to calculate the percentage of GDP. Okay, if it is asked that What percentage of total GDP is the total subsidy? You can calculate. GDP size is 171 lakh crore. You can calculate the percentage. 4.40 is what percentage of 171 lakh crore? You can calculate. Okay. So out of total food subsidy, what percentage is given to out of total subsidy, what percentage is food subsidy? You can calculate from here also only. Just remember the basic statistics. And these are the figures of 22-23. Actually, this figure will now become actual figure after 1 or 2 months. So this is more important. Okay. One thing that is also important is that you can see here the total subsidy bill is going to decrease year on year. In 2022-23, it was 5.77 lakh crore. 23-24, it is 4.4 lakh crore, and here it is estimated to be 4.09 lakh crore. So total subsidy bill is increasing on a year-on basis. So this is good news for the government and for our economy also. Now, the most important thing that I wanted to discuss is this. Initiatives announced or mentioned in the budget. Okay, here these are the announcements made in the budget. We need to study these carefully and just study all the schemes that were announced here. First point I have taken directly, I had copied paste from speech of Finance Minister. Here it is said that Finance Minister has said that GDP, government views GDP as governance, development, and performance. Actual full form of GDP is gross domestic product, but government says that we view GDP in this perspective also. Governance, development, and performance. Altogether a new fancy definition for GDP. Yeah, but if you want to remember, most important thing that was mentioned by Finance Minister is this. Digital public infrastructure is a new factor of production. Factor of production. You have studied economics, you know the importance of factor of production. And Finance Minister is saying that digital public infrastructure is a new factor of production. So this signifies the kind of importance the government is giving to this particular initiative, digital public infrastructure. And this has the launching of this digital public infrastructure is in the process since 2020-21. Government is going to launch 3 kinds of digital public infrastructure. Most prominently in agriculture sector, it is Agri.Stake. Okay, Agri.Stake. In livestock sector, it is Live.Stake. And in the rest of the sector, it is India.Stake. Okay. So Agri.Stake and Live.Stake, we need to remember, these are the digital public infrastructure in agriculture and livestock respectively. What actually is digital public infrastructure? In short, I am going to tell you here, but in detail, you have to study for your examination. Digital public infrastructure is a digital platform, a unified digital platform where a citizen can log in and get access to all the information which government want them to use, like the information on the schemes, whether I am eligible for a particular benefit from the government or not, schemes in which I am eligible, I have not taken benefits, and the schemes in which I had applied for benefit, for that what is the progress of my application, when I will get the benefit. All these things will be made available to me on a single platform. I can also access the information about crop production in my area, in entire country. I can also access the weather forecasts. All the relevant information that is needed by me can be available on just on one click. So it is the basically aggregation of all the information on a single window to the citizen of India. That will be based on our UID number or Aadhaar card number. Okay, so all my information will also be stored in this digital public infrastructure, and it will be accessible to banks and all other relevant government institutions based on after my permission. Okay, so everything, all the benefit that I want to take from the government or the private institution, that will be made very easily available to me. So that's why this the government has said this as a new factor of production in our economy. You can go into detail of this scheme, and this has been going on since last 20 years when the government launched the Aadhaar. Aadhaar scheme. Okay. After that, UPI came, and then account aggregation came, and giving all these things together, we are now developing this digital public infrastructure. One more thing that is important here is that India is the only country in the world which has developed all the three pillars of digital public infrastructure. Okay, payment, identification, aggregation, all these things has been developed in India. Okay, so this is the overview of this scheme. You can read this scheme in detail. I will also make a video for that. Next important thing is government has announced that it will launch a rooftop solarization program. Okay, solar panels on everybody's roof. Under here, 1 crore household will be benefited. At least 1 crore household will be benefited by. They will be given 300 units of free electricity every month. So exact guidelines has not been issued right now, but as soon as it will be launched, I will tell you. Next is in value addition in agriculture sector is a priority of the government, under which Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana and Pradhan Mantri Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprises Yojana are currently running. Under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, 38 lakh farmers have been benefited, and under this micro food processing, 2.4 lakh SHGs and 60,000 individuals have been assisted with credit linkage. Okay. Next is post-harvest technology is also important is one of the priority of the government, under which modern storage, efficient food supply chains, primary, secondary processing, all these things will be done or assisted by the government. Nano DAP is one more important thing. Last year, nano urea was promoted. This year, government wants to promote nano DAP. You need to know the composition of nano DAP, who developed it, what is the nutrient composition of nano DAP, how it is applied, all these things you must be aware of. Dairy technology. Government again want to launch a comprehensive program to support dairy farmers, and they will formulate and launch this year. They have said that. Apart from this, they have this finance minister has also discussed about Rashtriya Gokul Mission, National Livestock Mission, Infrastructure Development Funds for Dairy Processing and Animal Husbandry. All these schemes you must have studied. If not, then please go and study these schemes. Oilseed is also one of the priority here. Atmanirbharta in oilseed is the motive of the government. Here they want to promote mustard, groundnuts, sesame, soybeans, and flour by assisting development of high-yielding varieties, widespread adoption of modern farming technology, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Next is implementation of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. So this scheme will be further intensified with an objective of enhancing the productivity from 3 to 5 tons per hectare, doubling the export from 50,000 crore to 1 lakh crore, and also generating 55 lakh employment. And most importantly, 5 integrated aqua parks will be developed under this scheme. You know, development of integrated aqua parks is one of the objective of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. So here, total 5 integrated aqua parks will be developed. So here, PMMSY is a very important scheme. You must, I recommend you, if you have not read, just go through and read the guidelines and all the objectives of this scheme. Lakpati Didi, again, self-help group, women self-help group is an evergreen topic. Every year, Finance Minister mentions about the achievement of the government, under which she always mentioned, she has mentioned about women self-help groups. So there are around 83 lakh women self-help groups, under which 9 crore women are engaged, and of which 1 crore have already become Lakpati. So the government's target was 2 crore, and government seems to increase this target to 3 crore this year. Okay. New initiative this year is biomanufacturing and biofoundry initiative. Here, government will launch an initiative to provide environmental friendly raw materials to the industries. Environmental friendly raw materials include biodegradable polymers, bioplastics, biopharmaceuticals, bioagri inputs, all these things. The availability of all these things will be increased through this initiative. And this is all that was all the information that was given in this budget. Okay, so if there is any new addition, I will inform you. But till then, this is the only information that is given here. Okay. Next, blue economy will be promoted by the government, under which aquaculture, mariculture will be promoted. Mariculture means you cultivate anything in the marine environment, in sea. Okay, in sea and in situ. Okay, within the sea, if you can include plant, animals, okay, marine plants, marine algae, fishes, prawns, anything you can cultivate that comes under mariculture. PM Kisan Samman Yojana was mentioned by Finance Minister, under which he said that 11.8 crore farmers has been provided financial assistance under this scheme. PM Fasal Bima Yojana, again, these two schemes are evergreen schemes, always mentioned by Finance Minister in every budget. So PM Fasal Bima Yojana, also 4 crore farmers has been given crop loan this year. Okay. Electronic National Agriculture Market means ENAM. ENAM is also a evergreen scheme. It is one of the digital initiative, or we can say that information and communication technology initiative in under agriculture. So 1,361 mandis has been integrated with ENAM and is providing services to 1.8 crore farmers. So all these things were mentioned by Finance Minister as the achievement of the government. Okay, so these things are these schemes are evergreen schemes. You need to be aware of these schemes all the time. Apart from this, some other schemes that were not actually pertaining to agriculture, but somehow related to agriculture or rural development were also mentioned in the budget speech of Finance Minister. They are Jan Dhan Yojana, PM Swanidhi, PM Janman, PM Vishwakarma, PM Mudra Yojana. So if you want to study these things, you can study, but important things are these are the important things. All those above that we have discussed. All those schemes are very important. You must have a handy notes about all these schemes. So that's all from my side in this video. We'll meet soon with a new video. Till then, thank you very much. Thank you for your patience listening. Yes, the PDF of this video is available on our Telegram group. You can join our Telegram group through the link in the description box, or through just by searching this on your Telegram app, t.me Agri.Rankers. Okay, everyone, thank you very much.